So my name is Jacob Hines. I am a senior and I'm from Austin, Texas.
My name is Esther White and I'm from here in Norman, Oklahoma.
My name is David Capehart. I'm a sophomore at the University of Oklahoma and I'm from Sallisaw, Oklahoma.
My name is Erin Shannon. I'm a sophomore and I'm from West Hartford, Connecticut.
My name is Julie Espinoza. I'm a sophomore here at OU.
My name is Varner. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
My name is Peyton Kuster. I am a sophomore and I'm from Allen, Texas.
My name is Varner. I am a sophomore at OU and I'm from Centerville, Ohio.
I went to church throughout my childhood. My mom brought me to mass every single Sunday, and right when I got to college, cold turkey, I didn't want to go alone and I didn't really know what church to go to. And come my junior year, I went to church for the first time in college, and I kind of heard the gospel, and as soon as I kind of heard it, it was like I wanted to keep going back.
When my mom needed a sitter, we'd go to my grandma's, and sometimes it was on a Saturday night, so she would take us to church on Sunday. And so that was kind of the only interaction I had with God. And the church that I originally met God at felt really exclusive, and because of that, I didn't feel worthy of God. I didn't feel like I could love Him because the church told us that how many hours you went to church or how many Bible verses you knew depended on if Jesus loved you or not, or if you were a Christian.
So I was raised Catholic, so I grew up Catholic. I would only really ever go to church on Christmas or Easter, if that, just because my aunts and uncles and grandparents were all going, so it was just a thing to check off the list, I guess. Looking back at it now, it felt like, I feel ignorant now looking back and not even knowing that people have relationships with God. I did not even know that you could have a personal relationship with God and that prayer with God could be so personal. I thought it was just this thing that you would put on applications that what religion you were, or it was just a thing, but it never even fazed me to think that what more could I be getting out of this, or what am I missing by not growing deeper in my faith.
So I grew up in church. My grandpa's a pastor, kind of always grew up around church and around God. But along the way, kind of middle school, high school, kind of stopped going to church. It really stopped paying attention and caring in that sense. I would go, but not really listen and not really put any time into my personal relationship with God. And I think honestly, before Christ and before having my own relationship, I was just kind of really lost.
It wasn't really until this year that I realized that my priorities and my sight was set on things of the world, and I was getting validation from all worldly things. And this past semester has been probably the worst of my entire life. I lost security and stability in my family. I've been watching my best friend battle cancer. Relationships have just come and went with friendships, and people have just gone in and out. And it wasn't really until I hit rock bottom that I realized that I needed to find my worth in something else.
So growing up, I always went to church. I wouldn't say every week, but it was kind of if we were up, we'd go. My dad was really the one that kind of pushed us to go, and I think him pushing us kind of made us kind of draw back from that, because it wasn't our own relationship with God. It was more of His relationship, and we just didn't know how to form our own relationship. But we always went to church, and I always believed in God. But I think coming here, I didn't really expect that to continue. I kind of just thought that I would just not go to church on Sundays because it just seemed easier than waking up early to go to church. But I found that my closest friends ended up being Christians, which was so impactful in my college experience, because they pushed me to go and helped me realize that in order to fully be like a Christian myself, I had to have that relationship, like choose that relationship with God. And so I think that was a big thing coming here, was like developing my own relationship with God instead of just people that were in my life's relationship with Him.
I grew up in the church. It's just, it felt like it was kind of like a chore. It's like, oh, I'm just checking it off so my parents won't get on me. So like every Sunday, wake up, go to church, make the parents happy, and then just go on, do schoolwork, do what I have to do for the rest of the week. So it's just kind of like a cycle. And then like once college started, it was like, I don't have like this routine. Like I don't have to go if I don't want to. It made me like decide whether I actually want to do this, like believe in it and like live out my faith instead of like just doing it because I'm forced to.
I want to get baptized because I was baptized as a baby, but again, that's like what my parents wanted me to do, and I really think it's important because I know that I've accepted Christ into my life for me, that I like show that relationship.
Being a senior and having some time in the Catholic faith, going to college, getting away from it, coming back to it and finding my faith in college, I think some people could think you're too late, like, oh, I shouldn't get baptized. Like, it's just my faith. I don't need to make it a public thing. And I think to kind of empower other people to not think it's too late, no timeline is the right timeline. We're all on our own timelines. And so to empower some other people to maybe take that step, to claim it as their own faith and get baptized also.
I know that like the stuff that's happened to me like grieved His heart, and like He's a father who loves me and like wants to protect me, and like He didn't want that to happen. And so I think that was like another reason why I was really angry with God, and it wasn't until I got to know Him more intimately did I realize like that's not the case. And like I also really believe that like God puts you through trials so that you can learn something, and like for me that lesson has just been like learning how to trust in Him and trust in His process, and like to always keep in mind that He's like the creator of the universe, but He is so intentional with each and every one of us. Like He wants all of us so badly.
So right now, the Lord is helping me spread my faith. So a part of being a Christian is building your own faith, but also helping others build theirs. And so I've really been trying to take those steps to help other people. And so whether that's giving people advice on what I would do, or like how I would approach this through the lens of the Lord. And I want to get baptized because I want to put my faith into my hands and control it. I'm ready to give it all to Jesus, and I fully believe in Him and trust in Him.
At the very beginning, it was just kind of, like I said, a thing to check off the list. But then as I like poured deeper into it and I tried to get step out of it, I realized I was like, this is so cool. This is nothing like I've ever experienced before. And I started realizing all the things that I was missing out on before. Like, I didn't even know what prayer was before. I obviously knew who God was, but I didn't have a relationship with Him at all. I never relied on Him, never asked Him for anything. Like, He didn't lead my life in any way, and it makes me wonder like how different my life would be, because I've already, just in 2 years being like focusing on deepening my relationship with God and growing in my faith, I've already seen so much change like with myself and just the way like I act, how I talk, like, and I know that's changes that make me like more similar to living a life like Jesus. And so it's just crazy to think like how much different it would have been like if I had that like realization years ago.
Specifically this past semester, and since I've been in college, God has just been kind of cleaning out my life and just forcing me out of my comfort zone so I can form new relationships and find a life and a new way of living that is more centered around Him. And I think it took me hitting rock bottom to be able to do that, because I didn't know where to turn next. I had no other option. I just experienced God's grace like no other, and peace that really makes no sense. It became so much easier for me to see the good and feel at peace with my life and with everything that's going on. And it's all because of with God. And I just, throughout this past few months, I realized that you can actually have a relationship with God, and you don't have to just, follow the 10 Commandments. You can talk to Him and you can listen, and He's always there. He's always a friend. You always have a friend in Jesus, and that's something that I found so comforting.
Just really started enjoying life again, which was something that I really struggled with. And as I continued to grow my faith and grow my relationship with God, things just started getting better and better. And even though I still struggle with depression and anxiety, it's not to the extent it was. I have someone to lean on and to hope in, and have faith in that person, because I think the biggest thing for me that I struggled with is just not having hope in life and not feeling like I had a purpose. And I think this semester I just have hope for everything, and I know that God is going to take me where I need to go.
Before I knew the Lord, I was kind of unaware of what choosing faith and making it my own looked like.
Before, I would say I was definitely wandering, it's just kind of why am I here?
Before I knew the Lord, I was broken. I was regretful.
I felt alone, lost, and just confused.
I was beyond lost.
I was unaware.
I was unsure.
Now that I choose to follow Jesus, I kind of know what steps to take.
Be happy no matter what, because I know I like Jesus.
I'm unconditionally loved. I'm hopeful.
I am just at peace.
Now that I know the Lord, I have purpose and drive with my friends, my family, and my community around me.
I know of His truth and His deep, deep love for me and everyone else.
I obviously still make mistakes, and that's been one of the greatest parts that I found about my new relationship with Christ, is that He forgives, and His grace is just so abundant, and the peace that's given me is just there's nothing that can take away from that.